when you look at the structure of the United Nations, the UN has not really done much for Africa. The UN has instead impoverished Africa and made Africa a third world continent. And I'm not the one saying it, so they call it third world. What is so third world about Africa? What is it that we see in Africa that we don't see in America, in Europe, in Asia? They've got slums as well. There's rubbish on the street as well. It's not new. So why should Africa be called third world? Even when you go abroad as a student, paid a lot of money, sit in class, diplomacy, the things you'll be hearing are likely to upset you because where you come from, with the least opportunity anybody gets to deliver a topic, a seminar, you would hear third world. In the field of medicine, in the field of business, in the field of sociology, in the field of international relations, foreign policy, and diplomacy, Africa is termed as third world. Yet when you go to Lagos, you go to Abuja, it's well built and structured, and it's looking even more beautiful than Lisbon, more beautiful than Madrid and some other Central European cities. When you go to Johannesburg, it's more beautiful than New York. Why is Africa still being called a third world? Most of the level-headed people we have abroad in Europe, America, providing healthcare to these people are Africans, African surgeons, African doctors, African engineers. The African doesn't have a small brain. Why are we still called third world? And when you look at the UN Security Council, the last time I actually got upset. I didn't even want to read about it because they wanted to increase the structures in the Security Council. And I think they were going to give 2 non-permanent positions to African continents. And it became an issue. I don't know how they solved because I wasn't really interested. What I heard got me upset. So if I say Africa can do without the UN, they can simply do without the UN. Because at the moment, when you look at it, the UN hasn't done much for Africa. Well, we are not expecting them to, perform a magic, but the UN has done things for other continents, other countries, far more better than it has done for Africa. So I'm not in support of coup d'etats and all those things, but that's the reason why you found out that some African countries, leaving the mainstream of this so-called democracy, and they are gearing towards into something else. They feel it's going to benefit them and their people. Instead of being in the general stream and everybody using you as a best practice. Oh, that country is so democratic and your population, they are dying of hunger. No quality of education, poor health care, death rate is high. Why? What has the UN done? To me, the UN has not done enough. They could do better, but if Africa rises up and says, you know what, we are going to stay united, we are going to work for ourselves, we are really going to do things the best way for ourselves, I think the UN will be irrelevant in this situation. That's my opinion, and I'm not saying people should buy into my opinion. From my own research and what I've just read around, since in school and in so many other things I've just seen, I've just got to realize that the UN has just done little. It has done just little. Where is international
My
security?
brother, I'm so sorry. I would love to ask you something. Like, I agree with everything that you've been saying about the UN, and they didn't do anything for Africa and stuff like that. But you just said that they have done things for other countries. So I'm not familiar with the things that they have done good to other countries. Can you enlighten me, please?
I would say the issue of enriching the Security Council. Those countries that have had permanent positions in the Security Council, you can see that they are very stable. Their voices are heard. When they cough, the whole world listens. So that is why I'm saying they have done things to enrich themselves. So those are the
Exactly,
countries.
themselves, but you already know that it is an organization in the end of the
I'm
day,
still
right?
landing. I haven't finished. If you could exercise patience and listen to what I'm going to say fully, maybe
I'm sorry.
you
I
relate.
hope you
Yeah.
can forgive me. Let me mute
Oh no,
myself.
I have. So like it's just a plethora of issues, and you see, we seem to be in a vicious cycle. Africa has been in the UN for so many years. And when you look at it in your country, does the UN reflect in your country? I don't know. We are from different countries. That's why I'm saying that those are my opinions. You are entitled to your opinion. If you feel like sharing my views, that's fine. But I will not coerce anybody to share my views. That's my opinion, and I'm entitled to my own opinion. So, in a nutshell, I can say the UN hasn't done much for Africa. Africa has to rise up by itself, hold itself tight, and then we work together as Africans to enrich ourselves. Instead of having this so-called UN, yes, it's good to belong to an organization. It's good when the organization is vibrant, when there's fairness. Africa has not been treated fairly. 54 member states, not even one permanent member in the UN Security Council. And you have been in this since 1945 after the League of Nations was collapsed in place of the United Nations organization, which is now the United Nations. Why wouldn't you question yourselves? And it's now like it's a tradition that yes, your country is a member of the UN. We've adopted UN conventions. Yes, we've adopted UN conventions. People have interpreted UN conventions in their countries. International law and justice. Where is international law and justice when DR Congo has been, suffocated for all these decades? It's a long story. If you want to do a lot of research, you will find so many funny stuff that you even begin to question your own self, your sanity. So I wouldn't like to talk too much, but I know everybody has had different opinion about this situation. But for me, this is just my reasoning, and I'm even reasoning beyond what I'm look, every day I find out something new about some of these world issues. And I just got to realize that Africa has been unfairly treated from day one, from the colonial era till date. It's not better. When somebody wants to engage you as an African, it's because you have special features. If you have nothing to compete with them about, yeah, you are not even seen. There is something special about you. That's why they need you. If not, they don't need you for anything. You are not seen. It is the honest truth. People may frown towards my mentality, but it is the honest truth. I have to share it with everybody. So wherever you find yourself, just know that it is you and yourself and your God and the kind of confidence you have. You've built upon, and you can go out there and make a difference, do your job, and come out with all your shoulders up. If not, I personally out here, I don't count on anybody to do anything for me because I'm here because of what I can give, and that's the reason why somebody somewhere has decided to engage me because the world is not a fair place. There's no international justice.